Three, two, one. It's end time. I thought we were through, but you know what? I feel led. Honestly, in my heart, I feel led that we need to talk about personal responsibility just for a minute or two. And if it goes 10, fine. I don't. Y'all know me. I get to rolling. I just don't know when to stop. But the thing of it is the personal responsibility belongs to you and it belongs to me. See, I had a choice. Watch this. Okay, when my wife had looked up about Red Bulls could cause strokes or whatever, and I was hurting and everything, I could have said, well, screw you, baby, but I'm the man in the house. I'm going to drink all I want to of the Red Bulls. But then when I went to the store, I'd say, you know what? I just don't want that anymore because I got a responsibility to be healthy, number one, for myself. Number two, for my family, okay? And if we can't start taking personal responsibility for the junk we're putting in, whether it be Taco Bell, Mickey D's, whatever. I mean, just think about it. All you got to do is read a label. If you can't read, get somebody that can. I mean, there's plenty of people that can read. And Stephen and I were talking yesterday when we were headed somewhere to look at something, and that's the main thing. Everybody wants to blame everybody else. Here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to look in the mirror for at least 5 minutes at yourself and see who's to blame. Because even though they put it out there, all you got to do is say, I'm not buying the crap. I'm going to buy something healthy. I'm going to take responsibility for myself. And by the way, if you go on a trip, you ain't going to leave with your friggin' truck on empty and expect to make it 500 miles and hope you get there. It ain't going to happen. And all I'm trying to say is this. You'll fill your tank up. You'll change your oil in your vehicle. You'll do all these other things that are material, but they're not going to keep you going. What good's it going to do you if you got a vehicle full of fuel and you ain't able to even get in it and crank it up and drive it because you feel so bad and your body's so toxified? Go ahead, Stephen. I'm fixing to get ready to roll here in a minute, and they don't want me to do that.
Well, what we're talking about is personal accountability. One of the things I used to tell all of my patients when I was in clinical practice when they came in, and or students when I was teaching workshops, is I work for you. I'm a physician, but I work for you because you spend your money here. All products that you buy, the manufacturers of those products work for you. We in this country, for some reason, and I'm going to quote Billy here, we pretend that this is a daycare. And and I use the word we because I was guilty of it at some level before I started doing all of this, is we look to all of these advertisers and doctors, namely doctors, as like babysitters, and they are to tell us what to do, and just about everything we do in our life. But I'm talking about our health right here. When you go into a physician, I want you to remember this: you're paying them, so they work for you. They are your employee. They are not God.
That's right.
They're not anything close to God.
That's right.
Always get multiple opinions. If you went out and had your car worked on or had your house worked in, you're always told to get 3 opinions, 3 estimates. With physicians, you should always get at least 3. You should get 3 from 3 holistic doctors, 3 natural doctors, and 3 allopathic or Western MDs. You should get 9. I mean, if you got something that's really, you're talking about your health. We're not talking about a house.
Your life.
House, you can repair a house. But when you're dead, you're dead. So you should get as many opinions as possible. You should interview them. Ask them things like, can I see your appointment book? And randomly call some of those people in those appointment book and find out what their experience is. When they start prescribing drugs to you, right? When they're prescribing drugs to you, know this. It's a practice. That's why it's called a family practice. They're practicing on you. Polypharmacy, using multiple drugs. Some of you out there are on multiple drugs. Most of the time, they're practicing until they get it right. Well, all that time that they're taking to practice, they're doing something incorrectly for your body. So it's causing a high level of toxicity and disease in your body. So you have a right to know what they're doing. So it first starts with you and making the choices to ask the right questions. So here's what I suggest you do. You're obviously savvy enough to get on the internet. So now what I want you to do, every time you have a problem or you have any interest, start keying it into the internet and start asking the right questions.
That's
and
right.
Do your due diligence and study, just like Billy did when he found out about what the Bulls were doing to him when he was drinking those, and he started to use my Shen Tonic. He first asked the right questions and got some right information. Then he was able to make a natural, healthy choice for himself. So it all starts with you then. And then when you go into your physician, you will be armed with some knowledge, and probably knowledge that they don't even know.
Right.
Because when you come into their office, most of the time, they fit you into the box of their education. Now, if their box is this big, they're going to fit you into that. If it's this big, they're going to fit you into that. And if it's this so on and so on, they're going to fit you into that. So you have to widen your own box. beyond their box. So that when you go into a holistic physician, you're asking the right questions there, and an MD right there. So you don't get caught into that dependency trap when you're going in and you're saying, please help me.
Mm-hmm.
Please help me. God gave you a mind, use it.
Absolutely.
Do your due diligence, do your investigation, and use your personal accountability. Take your accountability back from the babysitters.
Absolutely. And let me add this one thing to it, and this is me, not him. I'm saying this. Being a biblical student of prophecy and a scholar, one of the Greek word for pharmacy is pharmakia, which is sorcery. Okay, every time something happens to you, you don't have to pump yourself full of pills and be a pillhead. You don't have to do that. This is me. He takes no responsibility for this statement. It's on me. And I talked with a friend of mine last night for about 2 or 3 hours, and we talked about some pill heads. They got 18 different cotton-picking prescribed medicines, and my God, they're not doing nothing. It's like they're a guinea pig is what the doctors are doing. Right. They're saying, well, maybe this will work, maybe it won't. And they do a Molotov cocktail that may wind up exploding, and you may wind up in Clay County pushing up daisies. All I'm saying is this. I'm not telling you what to do. Don't take my word for nothing. Do your own research. But listen to me. There is an alternative way to be healthy rather than thinking you need to be drugged up all the time and you need to eat, go to because it's $5 for a Happy Meal or whatever. That don't mean it's healthy, okay?
He's
$2 more, $7. My God, they come over here the other night and I had some kind of roll-up healthy thing, and I got to tell you something.
Just a wrap.
It was some kind of wrap with the lettuce and all. It was so good, and I felt so good after I ate it, man. I didn't feel bloated. I didn't feel down. I didn't feel drugged down. I didn't go to belching or nothing. I felt alive. And I'm telling you, you can do that.
I want to say out there in defense of allopathic medicine and MDs, most of the time they're trying to help you, but you got to understand that they're going to help you with the education they've been given. And a lot of their education, it's not working.
Right.
In plain terms, it's just not working. But with that said, some things do work that they do.
I agree with that.
They do. They help a lot of people, but you need to open up your options to other possibilities, that there are other things out there, natural ways they can help you with a lot less toxicity and side effects. So what I'm saying is when you educate yourself out there, think about an integrative approach to your health and healing. So you're using both sides, allopathic and holistic. Just arm yourself with all the knowledge that you can. You can email me at www.shen-life.com, and I will answer any questions I can. I usually get back to you within 24 hours.
And I know this guy personally, and we don't live too far apart. They finally moved to God's country, but anyway, you can also understand this. A little while back, my brother-in-law, and he's about 6'7" and about 250, and no, he's not a giant from old days. He just happened to be a pretty good sized fella. Well, he was having problems with his blood pressure, and he was also having problems with him and by the way, the Bible says that marriage in the bed is undefiled, okay? So you can do it 24 daggone times a month, or you can do it 30 times. But he was having problems, and he was getting nervous because he loves his wife, and everything. And we started telling him about taking a different approach rather than just jumping on blood pressure pills. Well, he took an alternative rather than taking blood pressure pills all the time. And, I mean, he's just happy as a dead pig in the sunshine because him and his wife's doing good, my sister. And all I'm saying is this. You make your own decision, but why not give God a chance in a natural way rather than all of a sudden depending on a doctor as being God, because he's not. He's just a man just like me and you are, and you should be doing your own investigation, and you should take responsibility and say, well, I want this pharmakia or I want something natural. It's up to you. We're just trying to give you a life force that we've known and God's given us a gift about.
Yes, exactly. He's talking about that life force again. We all know it's there. You bruise yourself, you cut yourself, you don't have to diagnose it, you don't have to go to a doctor, you don't have to do anything, and it heals. All this natural approach really does is strengthen that unseen healing force in the body, God's healing force.
And by the way, it may be unpopular, but it's real.